between Israel and Iran. The other was caught up on where hostage negotiations currently stand between Hamas and Israel. Well, Tom, they are not in a good place. So remember, it's been 5 months since the collapse of the last ceasefire deal, that brief deal that led to the release of several dozen hostages. Since then, there have been dozens of negotiating meetings, but no breakthrough. Israeli officials say they are pretty pessimistic at this point. They feel Hamas is drawing a very hard line in the sands. And it has been nearly a week now since there have been any meetings at all between the two sides. So not a lot of optimism, but just possible the release of this video might jumpstart the process. Ralph Sanchez from tonight from Tel Aviv.
Hey guys, I am running downstairs real quick just to lower the TV. Hold on one sec. All right, let me let more people in. Let me post in the group that we're on. All right. So in keeping with the theme of, I feel like what I've been doing with all the meetings lately is reiterating important information that you guys already know and then having a little bit of a newer topic. So that's what I'm doing tonight. We have about 3 minutes and then we're going to get started. And I try to bring up 2 topics that I get questioned about during the week, kind of. So we're going to go with that. This Saturday, I'll repeat it again, but this Saturday, 7 a.m., we're going to do a Zoom workout. So if anybody wants to join, I have 2 people already that said yes. Three minutes, 2 minutes. I'm sure more people will come on as we go. Cheryl, I love the pictures you posted with your son today. They were great.
Thank you. Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, it looked like you did. Proud mom.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to get started. Hopefully more people will come on. Happy Wednesday, everyone. First I want to ask you guys, have you guys ever done the, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but the Enneagram test? The personality test? No? Stacey, you have? Do you remember your number?
I'm not sure, but I think it was a 4, but I don't remember.
Okay. So
I
I want
can-
you to take the short version of it. I'm going to send you guys it. It takes like 10 minutes, if that. It's not like the 4-hour version. And then send me what your personality number is. That will help me coach you guys. I'll know where you're coming from. And I will tell you guys mine, and you're gonna, when you start reading the questions, you're gonna be like, oh my God, she's totally this number. So I'm a number 3 when you guys get there. And you'll read about them and you're like, oh my God. And then you're gonna start thinking about other people in your lives and what they are, and you're gonna have them take it. It's super, it's quick. It feels like it might take a long time, but it's not very long at all. So definitely take that. It's super fun. I even bought a book about it. It's just pretty interesting. So that's that. Okay, I gotta put my glasses on, otherwise I can't see. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and before Cheryl came on, I think I mentioned this. I feel like the thing I've been doing this session is repeating stuff that I've already talked about previously, and then a new topic. So we have like a quick snippet, and then I talk about something new. So our quick snippet is tips on how to hit your macros, as a reminder for a lot of us. And then we're going to talk about caffeine, because I've been questioned a lot lately. Is it okay if I'm drinking my coffee? And can I have caffeine? And is it going to dehydrate me? And do I have diarrhea because I'm drinking too much caffeine? And so I thought, you know what? I'm not a doctor, but I did my research. And I have a bunch of information for you guys on it. So we're going to talk about that too. Oh, and then someone said, I read somewhere that I should drink coffee before I work out. It's a great stimulant. Well, it's caffeine. Of course it's a stimulant. Okay, I'm gonna sneeze, so give me 1 second. Shoot, it's there. Sorry. Chew. Chew. There's gonna be one more coming, so just be prepared for it. Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you. All right, so how to hit your macros. So first thing is plan ahead. I know some of you know this already. You guys have been in the Shred Tribe for a long time, but we forget, we don't do it. We fall off the wagon. So planning ahead, don't wait until the end of the day to figure out what macros you are missing. That will be your biggest demise. Take time in the morning, take time in the evening, to plan your day to be successful. If you have a full day of macros already logged, you have so much to play with, right? You can move it around. You already know you're set, but you can shuffle it and play macros Tetris, and make room for the foods that you like and experiment with some things as well. Keep in mind, you don't have to have everything cooked and everything portioned out when you're putting it in your log. You can change it around. It's just like a space keeper, which is like your approximates when you're putting it in the log sometimes. So definitely log it, but just, it doesn't have to be 100%. Think about what's in your refrigerator, know what you want to cook, and think about how much of what you have in the refrigerator to eat, right? Because if you think you have something and then you don't have that much, you're going to be shortfall too. Okay. Start with the staples. I talk about this all the time. Start with what you eat every day. What's most important pieces of your day, based on preferences, based on priority. Your staples should always include protein and vegetables, because those are the toughest things to get into your food. And vegetables are super important, obviously, and so are your proteins. Think about your post-workout meal. Put that in your log. Think about your pre-workout meal. Think about your easy grab and goes, what breakfast you are having every day. Do you rely on that? The lunch you already have made for the next day. Maybe you're eating leftovers. Things that you're looking forward to. Maybe you know there's a dinner you're going to be going to or cooking, or put it in there. Make sure that's a staple that's in your log. Okay. Add the foods you love next. So you've planned, You started with your staples. You're adding things that you love. Maybe your favorite food. It could be a treat. It could be wine. It could be chocolate. It doesn't have to be a nutrition plan breaker. It doesn't matter because we get to have those things, right? There's no good or bad foods. So leaving room for that wine or the dinner you're going out with friends, it's fine. And actually, that's what's going to be important to make this long term. If you don't do that, then this is not going to be long term because you're going to be on a diet and then you're not going to stick with it. Usually your treats are higher in carbs and fats, hence the word treats. So make sure that you know what you're eating. You know, we all say, oh, I don't need to track anymore. I kind of know what I'm eating every day and I eat the same things every day, but our treats aren't always the same, right? Our weekends, our weekdays are usually pretty much the easiest thing to do. And then our weekends sidetrack us, derail us. So that's where we need to really think about what is that treat. So yeah, you may not be able to enjoy all your favorites in the same weekend, but you're going to get to have some of those. And then you might have to push it for another weekend or throughout the week. Filling in the gap. So after you did your staples, after you added your favorites, check what you have entered and check what you have left. And then you're going to fill in your gaps. So don't automatically put in those chips. Don't automatically put in those bars, of course, unless they're your staples, but use them to help you hit. Maybe you might need more fiber. Maybe you might need more vegetables, depending on what you already have in there and what you have left. Don't just look at the number you put in. You got to look at your chart and see what you have left to eat. Maybe you can add a small snack. Maybe you're going to need to add a small meal. There's a chart in the app under cheat sheets. Help, what do I eat? And that's that chart that has the overlapping. It might have carbs and fats. It might need carbs, need fats, might need carbs and protein. That's what's going to get you to where you need to be. That's the best cheat sheet of all of them, that overlapping cheat sheet. I use that all the time. Because I always forget and don't think of things. And, you know, when you need like carbs and protein, and I don't feel like eating truly healthy food, I might grab cereal and have some almond milk. That's carbs. That's protein. That nailed it. And I was satisfied. I don't know why, but you guys remember, now I can't even think of it. Remember the granola cereal? Grape nuts. Even though grape nuts rip apart the top of my mouth because they're so hard, I let them soak in either almond milk or vanilla, unsweetened almond milk. I just let them soak in there. And that is like the biggest treat, but I'm using my almond milk for some protein. And I might put a little bit of vanilla protein powder in there. And those grape nuts, and it's like eating dessert. Y'all are going to go out and buy grape nuts. I should have stock in grape nuts. You're going to start remembering. I remember grape nuts. Remember my dad used to eat them all the time and put raisins in them. So anyway, I would never think to do that. Or crackers with turkey meat, carbs and protein. But if you forget about these things, and you're like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Or have some egg whites with some quinoa or egg whites with potatoes. Like Mike asked me if I wanted him to bring me home food from the club tonight. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to have eggs and sweet potato fries. And he's like, what? I'm like, well, I need protein and I need carbs. And those sweet potato fries sound amazing. And I need a little bit of fat. So I'm going to put some cheese in my egg whites. And that's my dinner. And that's actually one of the lists with things on the cheat sheet. So use the cheat sheet. It really does work. Or have regularly plain yogurt with some granola. That's delicious. Tate eats that every day, just so you know, every day. Okay. If you need to adjust your portion sizes, this would be your opportunity. The last thing you're going to do when you're putting in your numbers, right? You already have your staples. You already have your favorites. You're filling in the gaps. Whatever's left, if you need to change your portion sizes, this is the time to do it. Oh, I'm over in my carbs. Let me just drop down that rice a little bit. Maybe I'm not going to have 2 servings of sweet potatoes for dinner tonight, which I like to do. That's 26 French fries. Okay. so that was that. Just remember, nothing is set in stone. You could always go back and adjust. That is the best part about it until you put it in your mouth. There's no adjusting. My grandma used to say, a moment past your lips, a lifetime on your hips. You remember that, Stacey? Yeah. My grandma was obsessed with her weight, just so you know. Wonder where I got that from. Okay. So our new topic that I've actually never talked about is caffeine. Raise your hand if you drink coffee. Raise your hand if you drink tea. Raise your hand if you drink green tea. Green tea is actually the most perfect caffeinated drink to drink. I'm drinking tea, but I'm drinking slim tea. It's uncaffeinated, it's decaffeinated. Uncaffeinated, it's not a word, but I'm afraid if I don't drink my slim tea, I might not go to the bathroom. So I'm like obsessed with having to drink it every night. Plus I like it, so whatever. And then I drink my sleepy time, and so it makes me happy, but okay. Hold on, someone's messaging. Maybe just make sure it's not about getting in the app or meeting. No, okay. So the most well-known source of caffeine is coffee, right? Why I think there's a Starbucks and a Dunkin' Donuts, and they're popping up everywhere. There's like this new thing across the street from Orange Theory. I don't even know the name of it, but they actually sell energy drinks on top of the coffee. I don't know if you've been there, Cheryl. I haven't been there yet, but a lot of the girls go there. It's on the opposite side of Orange Theory, so it's like, why would you even go there? It's kind of a weird place for it, but it's like you have to cross the whole traffic to get there. If you're not going in that direction, you're not going to go there. Okay, so not only is coffee one of the most popular, it is the most popular thing with caffeine, but soda, chocolates, and there's medication that has caffeine in it, believe it or not. Your doctor would definitely tell you what if your medication had caffeine in it, because you would need to know that if it was a stimulant. Most of us use coffee to boost our energy to get our day started. A lot of us do it because we like the way it tastes. And then I always argue the fact, well, then drink decaf. And then people are like, no, why would I drink coffee and just drink decaf? So I've tried the whole decaf thing. I've tried the half and half. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? I might as well just drink. So now I drink like a triple espresso. It's so bizarre, but I drink like an espresso boost, which is a regular coffee, and then I put a double espresso in it every morning. But that's all I drink. I don't fill it or anything like that throughout the day. Hold on, let me let this person in. Okay. You got my message, right? You got my message about his food and water? Okay. All right. So caffeine is the most natural stimulant, and then you're going to find it only in plants, but they just started making a synthetic caffeine, and that's what's going in our medications. I gotta turn this light on. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm so blind, even with my readers on. Okay. Sorry, much better. There we go. So we're going to talk about how caffeine, how the stimulant will impact your body. We're going to talk about the benefits. We're going to talk about the risks. We're going to talk about how much might be too much. If you're one of those people that don't think you're drinking too much, and then I'm going to ask you if you feel this way ever. And if you say yes, then maybe you're drinking too much. Okay, so the natural sources of caffeine is coffee beans, tea leaves, cacao, which is what goes in your chocolate. And then you have your synthetic, which is found in supplements, which is like your pre-workouts, found in processed foods and beverages. So kind of like caffeine that you find in Red Bulls or those drinks, what are those energy drinks that everybody drinks? I can't think of what they're called. Celsius's, all those drinks, they have caffeine in them, but those are not the natural caffeine. So We can find them in your coffee, your tea. Now, just so you know, there are decaf coffees that say decaf that have caffeine in them. It's not a lot, but they're there because sometimes you can't get all of it out. From what I've read. So there are small amounts of decaf versions that have caffeine in them. Okay, so how it affects our body. So caffeine basically works by blocking these neurons in your brain that will make you feel more energetic. They're responsible for blocking what would make you want to sleep and relax. It's called adenosine, but I didn't want to get sciencey on you. But those neurons, caffeine will say, no, you can't sleep and you cannot be relaxed. It just blocks it. And by blocking those receptors, it will make you more alert. So it'll stimulate the release of your neurotransmitters for mood. So like dopamine, serotonin, not so much the same hormone that would come out when you are working out, but it gives you that same feeling, right? That same energy feeling. So when we get that alertness, basically what it's doing is it's increasing our heart rate, right? When you drink when you drink coffee or caffeine, do you ever feel your heart race ever? You do, Cheryl? I do too. Like sometimes I think like my heart might come out of my chest. Like I'm like, all right, just take a deep breath. Like almost feel my heart beating, right? That's because it's a stimulant and it's releasing your adrenaline. That's what coffee does. So that's why we all feel like we need it in the morning to give us that jolt getting out of bed. You know, as soon as we get up, like, we got to have our coffee. And then we feel better about it. It is actually increasing all those transmitters, all those neurons in our brain, not even in our nervous system, in our brain, to make us more alert. It will also increase your blood pressure. So if you are someone that has high blood pressure, your doctor probably told you to go decaf or half decaf. A lot of times if you're on beta blockers, they will tell you to do that because beta blockers will not let your heart rate to go up, but then you don't know if your heart rate is going up or not. And that varies person to person. So do you ever feel jittery or anxious when you drink coffee? No one? I don't think I feel jittery or anxious, but I'm going to keep going. Okay, so I'm going to go over the benefits of caffeine, and then we're going to talk about the risks, and that's where we're going to talk about that jittery and that anxiety comes in. So it'll boost alertness and your cognitive function. Because it's blocking those receptors I had talked about, it'll help you be more alert and productive. So we're in college and we're drinking that coffee, we're studying for our exams. That actually did work. So hopefully you guys all did good on those exams. Hopefully it wasn't for no reason, right? It'll improve your overall cognitive function, concentration, and your mental sharp capabilities. It's pretty interesting that caffeine would do that, right? So it will also enhance your physical performance, which is why people do pre-workouts. There's way more things in pre-workouts besides caffeine. There's niacin. There's so many other things. When you take a pre-workout and you start to feel your face get really flush and you get itchy, that's niacin. I cannot do pre-workouts. I want to like rip my skin off. One time I did it. I was at Planet Fitness and I had to go to the bathroom and literally take a shower in the sink. I felt my ears, I was like, I looked like a lobster. I looked like I just left a summer vacation without sunblock. It was horrible. And that was from the niacin. It wasn't from the caffeine, but you got to look to see what those things are because it says on there that niacin might have that effect. So if you ever do a pre-workout, just keep that in mind. So athletes, fitness people use caffeine to improve their endurance and performance during workouts. Can increase your adrenaline levels. It'll promote fatty acids, which is for your fuel. It'll help preserve muscle and help you push through activity further and faster and longer. Hence, pre-workouts are meant for longevity. There's a study that said you should drink 1 cup of coffee before you go to the gym. Just 1, and it will increase your performance. A lot of us do that regardless because we're drinking coffee before we go to the gym anyway. It will help. It's an antioxidant. Caffeine is an antioxidant. So it helps with disease prevention. It'll help with stopping against your cells getting damaged, believe it or not. And it will also help reduce. Now, this is studies. So the studies always go both ways. But there have been studies that said that coffee consumption can reduce illnesses, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and some forms of cancer. That's coffee, which is very interesting because so many people give up coffee because they think they have to give it up. Coffee's not good for me. I'm giving it up. Why? I hear it all the time. Oh, I gave up coffee for Lent. Why? What was the reason for it? I drink too much of it. Well, do you feel bad? Like, what is it doing to you? So what's up for debate is that it will increase your metabolism. And they say it'll increase your metabolism because of the thermogenics. If you're hot and you're getting your heart rate up, your metabolism is increasing. It's just the cycle, right? It's not necessarily the caffeine itself, but it's the cycle of what caffeine does to you. And then, of course, when you combine it with watching what you're eating and exercise, obviously, it'll help with weight management. Don't rely on caffeine to lose weight. It won't work. Now, fat burners, because I get asked that all the time, have so many other chemicals in fat burners, not just caffeine. If you could just find a caffeine fat burner, don't you think everybody would take it? Fat burners are not good for you. I never recommend fat burners. I'm not a big supplement recommender anyway. I like for you to take your vitamins, your fish oils, like things that your doctor tells you to take. But as far as other things, I really don't see a reason in taking those things like creatine, pre-workouts. Like, your body doesn't need it. You're not competing. So why put all those extra things in your body? Okay, so side effects and risks of excessive caffeine consumption. It can obviously, this is like no brainer, but the caffeine stimulating effects will disrupt your sleep patterns, will lead to difficulty falling asleep, will increase your awakenings, and will overall poor sleep quality. And they're saying that even if you do it in the morning, that will affect you in the evening. Anything over 400 milligrams in the morning before noon will still affect you in the evening. I jumped ahead, but caffeine enters your bloodstream and stimulates your central nervous system. So this will elevate your heart rate, your blood pressure, and could increase the rate of palpitations, which we talked about because I asked you guys if you ever have palpitations, arrhythmias, and sometimes even heart attacks if people already have heart disease. That's a good reason not to have it. Excessive caffeine intake will intensify depression, could give you panic attacks, and could even give you anxiety or anxiety attacks. So when I get stressed, I get anxiety. I don't take anything for it, but like March and April were probably the most stressful months for me, probably ever in my entire life at Orange Theory. I've been with Orange Theory 10 years. And just things that happened over the 2 months, it gave me major anxiety to the point where I was probably crying every day. And if I had done this prior to those months, I probably would have given up coffee. But I think I was drinking more coffee, thinking I needed it because I was working so much more. But reading this, and I got really into this part of it, I was like, wow, that's probably why I was so freaking emotional for those 8 weeks. Because I didn't do anything else that was different with my life. So if you are in that position where you are totally overwhelmed, totally stressed out, You know, it could be planning a wedding, it could be studying for a test, it could be your job, it could be your home life. Cut down on that caffeine, cut down on the coffee, and it might make a difference. And I wish I had known that prior to going into May. Okay, so they say that, so now how much caffeine is safe to take? Everybody obviously is different. I'll grab my other notes. Make sure I have the right page. Okay, so recommended is 400 milligrams per day. 1 cup of coffee. Does anybody know what it is? I have it in my notes. 1 average cup of coffee has 95 milligrams. So before I walk out the door, I already have 400 because I did my boost coffee with my double espresso. So I don't drink. Once I pull up into where I'm going, my coffee stays in my car. I don't drink it anymore. Except the last 8 weeks, I was like going to Starbucks and it was just whatever. Because it was right near Orange Theory. So if you're only drinking 2 cups of coffee a day, average cups of coffee a day, not Dunkin' Donuts, not your thermos, then you're golden. You're drinking the right amount every day. Who drinks it all day long? And there are people, is there anybody in here that drinks it all day long? I know people that drink it all day long. It's like crazy. I'm going to get a cup of coffee. You want one? I'm like, no, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to get another cup of coffee. I'm like, no, it's 4:30. You just had one at 3 o'clock. But there are people that I work with currently. Okay. So we are going to talk about if you needed to change your coffee habits. How much time do I have? I have time. We're to talk about if you needed to change your coffee habits. So cutting back gradually, maybe not every day, but maybe overall the week. If you're drinking too much coffee overall in a week, just cut it down, average it. Maybe you need more on like Mondays and Fridays to get your butt going because you have meetings, but not so much Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So change that habit. Swap out your energy drinks for caffeine-free options. Obviously, that's going to be hard to do in the beginning, but you will get to do that. Drinking water instead of coffee after you've had at least 1 cup. You know, we say when you drink alcohol, have a glass of wine, but then drink water. Have a glass of wine, then drink water. Do that with your coffee if you need to, if you're that person that needs to do that. Okay, I want to talk about myths about caffeine. Coffee is dehydrating. How many times have you heard that? I've heard, I think I've said it. No, you guys can't have coffee as part of your water because it dehydrates you. I'm more supposed to say because it's a diuretic, but contrary to belief, moderate caffeine consumption does not cause dehydration. It's not a study, it's a fact. And that's from the health department. I got that fact from the health department. Caffeine will have a mild diuretic effect, which will make you go to the restroom a few times, but the fluid intake from these beverages typically outweigh any fluid loss. So the next time somebody tells you why drink so much coffee, you're gonna get dehydrated, tell them they have no clue what they're talking about. Tell them to go on the website for the health department. Caffeine causes osteoporosis. So I used to train this lady at Retro. She was like 92. And I always just have conversations with my clients. And she's like, yeah, I gave up coffee when I was 70 and I'm 92. And when I smell it, I wish I could have it. And I'm like, just have it. No, I have osteoporosis. I can't have it. Well, it's mixed research, but current research states that moderate caffeine intake does not impact bone health or increase the risk of osteoporosis. That's good to know. Excessive caffeine consumption may pose health risks for some, but moderate intake is generally considered safe for most individuals. The FDA outlines that 400 milligrams of caffeine per day is safe for most individuals. So now we're like, wow, I only drink like 200, I can have more. Don't increase it just because we had this meeting. According to the Academy of Sleep Medicine, caffeine has a life of 3 to 5 hours. So if you finish your coffee at 10 or you finish your coffee at 12, add at least those hours. And that's for per 1 cup. Per 95 mgs. So multiply that if you had 3 cups. It's going to last that much longer. It also, this is how long it takes your body to metabolize and eliminate half the caffeine you consume. 3 to 5 hours for half the caffeine you consume. So if you're drinking 100 milligrams of caffeine at 7 a.m. by 12, half of that will have been eliminated. And 50 milligrams will still be in your body. However, this half-life is why it's recommended you don't consume caffeine for at least 6 hours before bedtime. I would drink coffee at 10 o'clock at night. I could drink espresso, no problem at dinner. May I get an espresso? Or people would be like, can I get a decaf cappuccino? But I would get like a double espresso and I would get home and go right to bed. I turned 50 and that switch flipped. I cannot drink coffee or a dinner or any of that anymore. It's so bizarre, and it could be in my head, but I can't do it. Can't do it. Be mindful of your caffeine intake before workouts, because of course we talked about that it will impact it and have effects. It could have an effect on your heart. So you want to be very mindful of that. Obviously you want to opt for your natural, like dark chocolate. It has antioxidants. That is a great caffeine source. Swap out artificial sweeteners for natural ones. Cut back on any added flavors in your beverages. That will help with your caffeine consumption. Caffeine isn't just a way to get through your daily task list. It's a part of our culture, obviously. When consumed in moderation, it could be a good tool for boosting energy, enhancing performance, and even promoting certain areas of our health. But excess intake can lead to some adverse effects: lowered sleep quality, poor cardiovascular health, decreased mental well-being. You need to know how caffeine affects you. So staying in the daily recommended amount, consuming caffeine responsibly, enjoying the benefits of caffeine, and being aware of how your body reacts to caffeine will be the most beneficial to you. Does anyone in here not drink coffee? Just out of curiosity, that's listening to this? Okay, good. That makes me feel better. That wasn't just talking about it. Bonnie, do you drink coffee?
I
Yeah.
do, but I only drink decaf, believe it or not. Everything
Good, but why?
decaf.
Just curious.
What? I gave it up a long time ago and I just kind of stuck with it because
Do you do caffeine and anything else?
I had what?
Do you drink caffeine and anything else?
No, I try not to, but I really like chocolate. So if I have something that's chocolate, I guess that's where I'm getting caffeine from.
Do you eat regular chocolate or decaf? I mean, dark.
Is there such a thing? I prefer dark. I prefer dark.
I feel like Raina was the only one that heard me say that because she's the only one that. Do you dark?
Dark, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Then you're doing good. That's awesome.
I just didn't see the reason to go back, honestly. And I was kind of like you. I could drink caffeine like anytime and I could like go to sleep. But when I gave it up, I had a lot of headaches and I went through withdrawal and I'm like, all right, well, I don't need to go back to that.
Right.
So.
Right. And I mean, if you don't use it, if you're not taking it, use it. Sounds like a drug. If you're not taking it, if you're not taking caffeine, then why even start, right?
Yeah.
I thought I was doing good by not putting anything in my coffee. I'm like, all right, I don't put sugar in my coffee. I don't put sweetener. I don't put milk. And then it's like, you find out so many new things. I'm not giving up my coffee because I'm going to go with all the positives in my notes tonight and continue with my coffee. And I don't do pre-workouts and I really don't do any other stimulants, but if I had known better 2 months ago or in the last 2 months, I probably would have cut down on it. To sleep, I use gummies every night. Every night. These are all natural. They're melatonin and magnesium. And there's nothing in them. But they were just sitting here on the table, but I'll show you them. They just relax me. I like them. They're little moons. They're cute. All right. So that is our meeting. We're going to do a workout at 7 a.m. on Zoom Saturday. If anyone wants to join, please message me, let me know.